You have been punished by this system. You just did not know it had a name. Every time you have been left out. Every silence that felt louder than a shout. Every room you walked into where nobody seemed to notice you arrived. That is not oversensitivity. That is a 300,000-year-old execution method, and it is still running inside you. If you want the kind of history that explains why you feel the things you feel, subscribe. Now let us begin. Today, if you break the law, the state removes you, puts you in a cell, behind a wall, where nobody has to look at you. Ancient humans had none of that. No state, no walls, no one whose job it was to enforce the rules. For 290,000 years, humans lived in groups of 30 to 50 people. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone depended on everyone. Your survival was literally attached to the person next to you. So when someone broke the rules, stole food, hurt someone, refused to share, the group could not afford to simply lock them away. They needed a system that worked without prisons. And they built one. It was quieter than a prison, more precise, and it hit harder than any physical punishment ever could. Christopher Boehm spent decades studying hunter-gatherer societies across every continent. His book, Moral Origins, documented how these groups handled rule breakers. The pattern was the same everywhere. It always started with gossip, not the kind you are thinking of. Gossip was the early warning system. If someone was acting selfishly, hoarding food, bullying others, throwing their weight around, the group talked about them, not behind their back, right in front of them, but indirectly. A joke here, a loaded comment there. Everyone understood what was happening. The message was, we see you. Change course. The Kung San of the Kalahari still do this. They have something called a ridicule song. If someone in the group is acting arrogant or selfish, the others compose a song mocking them by name. They sing it at the next gathering. The whole camp joins in. No blood, no bruises, just your entire social world telling you, publicly, specifically, rhythmically, that you are out of line. Now pause for a second. Think about what that actually feels like. 30 people you depend on for survival, people who literally keep you alive, singing about your worst behavior. In a world where you cannot leave, where there is no other group to join, where being on the wrong side of these people means starvation. That was stage one. And for most people, it was enough. But not always. If gossip did not work, the group escalated. The Inuit of the Arctic practiced something called a song duel. Two people with a dispute would stand in front of the entire camp and trade insults in song. Verses of mockery, exposed secrets, accusations, all performed for an audience that decided the winner by consensus. It was not about who was more clever. It was about who the group sided with. The loser did not just lose the argument. They lost standing. They lost trust, the invisible currency that kept you fed and protected, in a world with no institutions to fall back on. But if someone was truly dangerous, if they killed without reason, if they repeatedly refused the correction of the group, if they became a threat to survival itself, the group had a final option. And it was not execution. Not usually. It was ostracism. The Yagan of Tierra del Fuego practiced complete social death. The group simply stopped acknowledging the offender. No one spoke to them. No one shared food with them. No one looked at them. They became a ghost, present in body, erased in every way that mattered. Quick pause. You have felt a version of this. A room that went quiet. A silence that landed like a punch. Tell me about it in the comments, because almost everyone has felt it, and almost nobody says it out loud. Now here is the part that most people miss. Ostracism was not just about removing a threat. It was designed to do something specific, something far more sophisticated than simple revenge. It was designed to signal. The anthropologist Richard Sosis studied religious communities and found the same logic everywhere. The costlier the punishment, the stronger the signal to everyone else who is watching. Public shaming, exile, the cold silence of a turn back. These were not just penalties for the offender. They were advertisements. They told every other member of the group, this is what happens when you break the contract. Maximize the signal. Maximize the visibility. Maximize the psychological impact. The same design logic that would later produce scaphism and the breaking wheel was already running 290,000 years earlier in a group of 40 people around a fire. No torturer needed, just silence. But here is where it gets uncomfortable. In 2003, Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA put people inside an fMRI brain scanner and had them play a virtual game of catch. 2 other players were in the game, or so the subject thought. After a few throws, the other 2 players stopped throwing to the subject. The subject was excluded, ignored, digitally ostracized. The subjects reported feeling hurt, physically hurt, and when she looked at their brain scans, the anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that lights up when you break a bone, cut your skin, or burn your hand, was fully activated. Social rejection and physical injury share the same neural highway. Your brain does not distinguish between being punched and being ignored. This is not a metaphor. This is your neurobiology. Your ancestors did not need prisons because the punishment was the group. The group withdrew. Your brain registered that withdrawal as physical death. And for 290,000 years, that was enough to keep most people in line. So what happened? About 10,000 years ago, humans started farming. Then they built villages, then cities. And suddenly, the group was too big to withdraw from. A stranger does not care if you are shamed. A crowd does not notice if you are ignored. The old system, the gossip, the ridicule songs, the devastating silence of a turn back, only works when everyone knows you, when your survival depends on being seen. At scale, ostracism breaks, so humans replaced it with something cruder. Physical pain, prisons, executions, torture, not because it worked better, because the old system could not operate at 10,000 people. You cannot socially kill someone in a city. There is always another group, another fire, another set of faces that will take you in. So the state took over punishment, and the state does not do subtle. The state does walls and bars and solitary confinement, which, by the way, is just ostracism rediscovered by people who did not understand what they were copying. Solitary confinement does not work because it removes your freedom. It works because it removes your social visibility. Your brain registers it the same way your ancestor registered being exiled from the fire, as dying. So the next time a room goes quiet when you walk in, and something in your chest drops, you will know exactly what that is. It is not weakness. It is a 300,000-year-old alarm, still wired to the oldest death sentence we ever invented. If this gave you a new way to understand something you have felt your whole life, subscribe, because next time we are going into what happened after the state took over, and the design logic behind the cruelest punishments humans ever built. See you there.